Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to issues 107 and also 108 of Build the Terminator.
The Terminator, week by week, built the T-800, the killing machine that defined a generation. Easy to build with high-quality metal components. You can control sound, lights, articulated limbs, and LED eyes, and explore the Terminator universe. Build the Terminator, issue 1, just $1.99.
So welcome back Terminator fans, and finally after just over a month's delay we have 107 to 110 has been delivered. So obviously that means I'm still going to get 4 more issues this month as well, because obviously we're waiting on the May ones, which should be dispatched within a week or so. So what I have today, finally, I've got the back of the skull, and obviously we're going to put that onto Terminator, so you can see that I've got him laid out ready. I am missing 2 magnets though, and I'm going to try my best to see if it will work without it. I do have 2 of the magnets of the 4 because apparently that's what helps to fuse it in, but I'm going to see if it will work. If it doesn't, I'll have to wait until Hachette send me some replacements, but fingers crossed it will work. Obviously once we've got that skull and the other parts connected, that's over. The Terminator is finished. But I am actually going to do some mods on it. I've got some nylon oil here, and with this will help give the metal a weathered effect. A lot of the guys have done that who are building this as well, and I thought, do you know what, I'll give it a go. So what I'll do is I'll show you how he looks before, and then I'll show you after, and I think it will make it look a lot better. So I'm going to be doing that. I've also done the Gatling gun. Like I said I'd spray paint it, and it's come up really well. So yeah, I went for just a standard spray paint of black. Before it was black and grey camo, and obviously there was an orange part there, so now that's just looking nice and fresh. So I won't be doing the plasma rifle, I'm just going to stick to the Gatling gun only. Have also ordered some skulls, because in the next 2 episodes after these 2 we have obviously working on the base, and that's one of the skulls, and I've ordered some extra ones thanks to Steve Williams and also another chap on Facebook who recommended some on Alibaba's, and the 2 I've got coming today are from Amazon. So once I've painted those up and whatnot, I'll be adding them to the base, but you're going to see the base coming soon. But anyway, I'm going to get cracking. We're going to first of all, like I said, work on the back of the head. That's then finished. Everything will be sealed in. Terminator is done, and then we move on to the base. So let's get started. Right, so just run through the parts quickly for 107. So obviously that's the back of the head, which is obviously metal. These are 2 of the mags I do have, so they're the 5mm ones. The other 2 I don't have are 3mm ones, and I've looked everywhere and I do not have them. So I'm going to try my best, like I said, to hopefully get it all connected up. These 2 components here are the neck connectors, so they're 2 little plastic parts. Then moving down, moving up, these are the parts for the searchlights. So you've got 1078, which is the housing, and this part here is another housing component. Obviously that is the bulb, so that's the bulb there. Then we've got the wires for it, so it's LED and cable. This is the stand for the lights. And in terms of the screws and whatnot, so we've got quite a lot here. First of all, you've got 2 plastic washers. Then in this one here, you've got 3 1.7 times 4mm PWB screws. And you've also got 2 more nuts there, but they are M2 ones. And in the other bag, I've kept them in the bag so I don't lose them. In this bag, you've got the long black ones. They are the 2 times 10mm PM screws. And you've also got 5 of the 2 times 4mm PB screws, and I believe that's it actually. Yes, that's all we've got there. So all you need for this part is a screwdriver, and that's it. Right, so I've switched the camera around a bit so you can see a bit better on the back of the head. So steps 1 to 3, we're going to fit the battery box into the top of the head. Obviously you've got to check that it is switched off, so I'm just going to double check, yeah, that's off. And then once you've done that, you're going to slot it in just in this section here, so that will sit in there nicely. And obviously make sure that all the cables can reach the sockets on the circuit board, you know, and I've already done that. I've already wired up ahead, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. Just check this the right way out. Just obviously make sure that the switch is on the top of this part on the left hand side when you slot that in like so. So that's obviously in there now. So taking the neck details, you're going to fit the broader end, this part here, into the open ends of the rib shafts that we did in the last issue. So that's obviously just going to go in there, like so. And there's actually a hole just on either side there. I'm just going to spin the camera around so you can see that, as that's where we're going to be putting on, threading the those neck details in. So the holes are just there, either side. So there's another one there. So I'm going to fit those through into the bottom of the hole, like I said. That's gone in nicely, and then once you've got those neck details into the correct places you want, you're then going to take one of the washers and also one of the PBW screws, and you need to actually thread those through the top of the head here. So again, I will move the camera in a sec so you can see what I'm working on. This one feels a bit tighter to get into actually. That's just going to make sure that's in there, because you're going to, apparently this is quite tricky and fiddly, this part, I've been told, so bear with me, because you need to get those screws in the top part. They feel quite tight already, to be honest, even without the screws, but I'm going to do it anyway. So the PBW screw, obviously put that through the washer, and then you're going to screw it in from the top here, just to secure those two together. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to super glue the rubber washer onto the screw, because already I've lost my first one, and I'm hoping I've got a spare, because it's gone right into the head and I can't find it. So yeah, as I expected, it's already being a pain. So I've just super glued the washer onto the screw there, so hopefully it won't come off, because you can barely see where the screw hole is. It's so tight and flat to the inner part of the ear basically, or the lower part of the neck. It's pretty much impossible, so I'm going to try and do that now, and hopefully we'll have success with it being glued in. So I managed to get that one in by basically pushing on the accessory parts, try and bring it more forward into the head so I can actually see what I'm doing. So I secured it with the magnet one and screwed it a bit, and now I've just finished it off with the other screwdriver. So that's now more secure. It's slightly loose still, but I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's going to really matter. So I'm just going to do the other side now, and then we'll move on. Okay, so with the other side, I'll be honest, I haven't actually screwed that one in. Two reasons. The washer I can't find, it's stuck in the head somewhere, and also this one, when I first put it in, it's really tight, so it feels like it's really firm. I don't think I'm going to need it. Also, one of the wires is in the way and I just can't seem to get any space, even putting up glue, so I'm not bothering. I've done one side. This one, like I said, feels tight. It's only the back of the head. I don't really care. Just a few little neck details. In terms of the circuits, as you can see, I've already thread them all through. But this is the order in which it tells you to do that. So I'm just showing you there. A bit better there. So that's how it should look, and that's how I have it on mine already. So a lot of us, when we first got the last issues, we couldn't wait to actually test out finally after over 2 years of having two lights, two eyes turn on, and we all did it prematurely. So I know that mine's working and all set up nicely. So anyway, moving on to steps 6 and 7. Okay, so hallelujah, a false alarm. I do actually have all of the magnets, thank God. So I've got all 4. Now we can work on steps 6 to 7. So taking the 2 larger ones, you're going to pop them in obviously the larger holes at the top of the skull. So it's telling me to put some super glue in, but I'm not going to do that because I want to make sure I can get this off if I need to. So yeah, I'm just going to hold off on that for the moment. I also want to test it first, that it also goes in nice and snugly how I want it. So okay, so that's the first 2 in at the top there, as you can see. Just going to put the bottom 2 in as well now, and you'll see within the head there are 4 little metal tabs that basically look exactly like the magnets where they're going to go on. So bear with me. Let's see if this all lines up how I want it. Double check like that. Obviously make sure you're careful none of the wires are exposed. And you can see that where the you could hear where the magnet's connected there. So I'm just pushing that one down a little bit on that side, because it's slightly raised. But that looks pretty much spot on to me. So spin around, show you from this perspective. So that's how the back of the head sits. So I'm happy with that now, and I will, when I stand it up, I'll decide then whether I want to glue or not. But that is that stage complete. Right, so steps 9 to 11. Now obviously we're working on our first searchlight, which is going to be for the base. So taking 107.5, obviously that's actually the LED and the wires. So it's going to unscrew the plastic bit, hold them together. You then also need 107.7, which is this plastic housing here. And what you're going to do is you're going to thread it through. So let's just thread that, unthread that, spin that round. And what you're going to do, you're going to lay this part flat down, and you need to bend the wires here so they actually sit snug onto the plastic part at the bottom. So that's just, you know, not much to do. So you just bend them so they're a bit tighter on that section, like so. Okay, so that's how that should look. Once you've done that, you're going to take the other plastic housing and you're going to thread the LED through the middle of the hole in the middle. So I'm just going to thread that through. So that's come up from there. Okay, once you've locked those two in together like so, there's 4 screw holes around the top of that, and you want to take the 4 PB 2x4mm screws and just secure those together. So just do the first one, and then I'll skip ahead. You don't see the other 3, quite self-explanatory really. Okay, so that's how it should be looking at this stage. So for steps 12 to 15, which are the final steps, we're going to turn the housing over so you can fit the actual LED, the lens into the opening of the housing part. So the flat side of the lens obviously faces outwards. You need to push it in until it clicks into place. So obviously be very careful still with that, you don't want to break anything. Okay, that's how that should be looking at that point. Now what we're going to do, we're going to thread the wire with the cable through the stand itself. So just double checking the orientation of that. That's just going to go all the way through. And it's going to run along there like so. And then you pull that through. So these two sit on top of one another, because that's actually going to thread through there on the end. So you pull that through. So as you can see, I'm just pulling the wire, and then that's going to line up because there are screw holes on either side which you will secure it to. So let's pull that right through so it's nice and tight so you can't see it. Okay, so for steps 14, what you need one of your little M2 nuts, and at the bottom here you'll see the hexagonal shape. That's where the nut's going to sit in. So obviously you want to pop that in there and take one of the longer screws, which is the black PM 2x10mm. Obviously thread that through from the other side. So sorry, I've just put that on camera for you guys so you can see. And then all you're going to do is just screw those two together, and that will lock all that part up. Okay, so I've just got that secured into place off camera because the nut was being a bit fiddly and kept falling out. Just one important thing of this, by the way, guys and girls, don't over tighten it, because obviously the searchlight does need to be able to move like that. It needs some movement, so you only need to tighten up slightly, and that's it. So that is that first issue 107 complete. We've done the first searchlight for the stand, and we have done the back of the head. Terminator is finished. Okay, so issue 108. These aren't going to be very long episodes at all. There's not much to do. So this is obviously the first part of the base, as you can see. And this is plastic, by the way, guys. A lot of us aren't very impressed with this. I'm not going to lie. I was expecting something far better quality for the cost of this whole build. But nonetheless, I do believe it will be sturdy and it should hold in, because obviously they've designed it to do that. I will do some mods to it, and the other section you'll see, like I mentioned, I've got the other skulls coming. And there are some nice details, I'm not going to lie. The metal parts, the springs and whatnot, they look very well weathered, but this needs painting and some other effects done to it, because it's not really matching up to my expectations. But anyway, that's obviously the first part there. So what you need to do, you will see here, there is a hole, and that's where we're actually going to put the searchlight for step 1 that I've just worked on in the last issue, 107. So I'm just going to thread that through. Spin it around, just get that wire through and lock that in. There you go, so you heard that just snap in there, and you can see that the searchlight has movement now, so he's set up nicely. So all we have to do after that is just super glue the rocks. So yeah, they're quite heavy considering they're plastic. That's obviously the big one, and that's the smaller one. So I'm going to work on the larger rock first. Spin it around, and you'll see this section here, this recess. This is where it's telling you to super glue. So I'm going to check the fit as well. They actually, you know, it's in the correct position basically. So if I spin this round, this is how you should be looking at it, to be honest. So this section goes down here, I believe. So I'm just going to double check that first, if I've got that right, or perhaps I've got it wrong. Okay, look, yeah, so that's how that sits in there, as you can see. So I'm just going to super glue it now, as I'm happy with it. And it says to do it on the sides, by the way, of the recess. Do not do it on there. So I'll go by their recommendations. And then hopefully you won't have any problems. Okay, just hold that down for a little while whilst that connects. This is obviously step 4 and 5, not a great deal to do, as I said. But yeah, we can move on to 109 and 110 very swiftly and carry on with forming the base and whatnot. Okay, so that's the first rock done. Let's move on to the second one. And the second rock will be going in this section just up here. So I'll just show you. It just goes in there. So again, repeat the process. Apply some super glue on the edge of the recesses and stick it on. So little rock is going right near the big rock. I think they've done this just to try and give you something to do in this part, because this could have probably done in the factory, to be honest. I don't really see why they did this bit. It's a bit pointless in my opinion, but I guess it's good for me because it gives me a bit more to do, obviously for the filming as well. But yeah, it's not a great deal to do, and it's not rocket science. But the last issue was quite tricky, to be fair. So I'm glad this bit's a bit easier. And there you have it. That's the first part of the base done, and 107 and 108 complete. Right, so that's 107 and 108 complete, guys and girls. We now have a fully completed Terminator. The skull is now fused. Everything's in there. I'm going to turn on the power pack, because obviously if I don't do it and I super glue those magnets down, it's a problem. I'll be honest, I don't know why you got to super glue it though, because if you're going to have to change the battery at some point when it runs out, so I don't know what we're going to do there, but I will super glue it, turn it on, and then that's all done there. And obviously the base is done, so I'm really excited. We're going to move on to 109 and 110 next. Like I said, I'm going to do some weathering, so I'm going to quickly just show you the Terminator. And guys, apologies if there's any issues with the audio at any point, but when I move around my camera, sometimes it loses the connection with the external mic, and as a result we get a little bit of background noise, and I have to reset it, but it's not always for some reason working. But that's the colour you can see from the back. Obviously it's going to be the same on the front, so that's how it looks now, and obviously I'll show you in the next issues I receive the difference with the weathering. So like I mentioned, I've got the nylon oil. It's very simple. You apply, rub off as much as you want and keep it on, and that will give it a very nice weathered effect. And obviously I want it to be as realistic to the film as I can, and this the way it looks right now, it's too shiny, it's too new. It's not what I want. You know, you wouldn't have a brand new unscratched you know, shiny, gleaming T-800 standing in a warfield, would you? You know, standing on crushing skulls and whatnot. So it just wouldn't happen. But anyway, guys, it's been great to be back. Obviously sad that we're getting close to the end, but also excited to be finally finishing, because it's been over 2 years and it's been a long bloody process, but I've still loved it. So anyway, if you did like today's video, guys, as always, remember to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you soon.